Okay, let's dive right into this. We have all been there, right? You're staring at a wall of books, whether it's in a store or just scrolling online, and you feel completely paralyzed. We're going to try and unpack this problem. How to find a book that is actually worth your time.
It's a really strange kind of anxiety, isn't it? I mean, you can fire up Netflix and pick a 2-hour movie in, a few minutes? No big deal. But choosing a book, somehow that just feels different. It feels heavier, more important. So what's the deal?
Well, here's why. Reading a book isn't a simple consumption decision like watching a movie is. Nope, it's an investment decision. You're not just spending a little bit of money. You are investing your single most valuable, non-renewable resource, your time, and your focus.
I mean, just think about it. A really good, serious book is going to ask for somewhere between 8 to 12 hours of your life. That's not just a lazy evening on the couch. That could be your entire week of commutes. That's several nights you could have been doing something else entirely. And for every single book you decide to read, there's this huge invisible list of all the other books you are deciding not to read. The stakes are actually pretty high.
So, if the stakes are that high, how have we historically managed to make this decision? How do we de-risk that investment? Well, it turns out there's one single, timeless rule that cuts through all the noise. It's kind of the key that unlocks this whole problem.
And this is where it gets really, really fascinating. Just look at this. With all of our algorithms, our bestseller lists, our fancy marketing, the single most powerful tool for discovering a new book is still deeply, fundamentally human. A whopping 64% of us still rely on personal recommendations.
We're talking about what you could call the trusted friend. Now, this isn't just anybody. This is a very specific kind of person. It's someone whose judgment you actually respect, who gets you, who has already read the book, and, this is the crucial part, recommends it for you. That right there, that's the gold standard. It's the one thing that has never, ever changed.
So you see, the big takeaway here is that the challenge was never really about the books themselves. I mean, there are millions of amazing books out there. The real problem has always been about finding that trusted person who's already done the hard work for you.
All right, so if that one trusted person is a secret sauce, then the big question becomes, how do you scale that? How do you create that feeling for millions of people? Turns out, the entire history of book discovery is basically just one long attempt to answer that exact question. How do you simulate a trusted friend?
And you can see this evolution pretty clearly. It started with big institutions. Back in 1996, Oprah Winfrey basically became the nation's trusted friend. Her seal of approval felt personal. Then, come the 2010s, the internet gave us social proof. Goodreads and Amazon started saying, hey, people like you also like this, which was like simulating a whole crowd of friends. And now, today, we've got Book Talk, which gives us emotional proof. You see a real person having a raw, authentic reaction to a book, and you trust that feeling.
And this table just lays it out so clearly. Each era found a new way to send the same core message. Oprah was all about personal authority. Trust me, you know my taste. Goodreads was about social proof. Trust the data, because people like you did. And Book Talk is all about emotional proof. Trust this book because look at what it did to me. They're all just different ways of trying to answer that same question. How do we make a stranger feel like a friend? But of course, just as we get comfortable with these models, a brand new technology comes along that threatens to just break everything. Generative AI is here, and it's creating a totally new kind of flood, and with it, a new kind of trust problem.
This quote from the philosopher Noam Chomsky is, well, it's pretty provocative, but it gets right to the absolute heart of the new crisis we're facing when it comes to words and ideas.
Okay, so here's the fundamental issue. For centuries, we've had this built-in shortcut. We assumed that really well-written, polished writing was a sign of clear, intelligent thinking. AI completely severs that link. It can pump out perfectly structured, super confident, plausible-sounding text with absolutely zero real understanding or expertise behind it. The surface quality no longer guarantees any substance underneath.
And this forces us, as readers, to ask a much, much harder question. We can't just ask if a book is well-written anymore. We have to go deeper and ask, is there a real human mind with real experience and a real commitment to these ideas behind the words I'm reading?
So in this new world where all the old signals of trust are starting to fail us, how do we move forward? How do we find authors and books we can genuinely put our faith in? It looks like there are two major new models starting to emerge. So the first solution kind of flips the camera around.
Instead of trying to evaluate the author, it focuses on deeply understanding you, the reader. You've got platforms like Storygraph recommending books based on your specific mood or pace. Fable is trying to make reading a live social event. And even Spotify is getting in on it, using your music taste to predict what audiobooks you might love. The core idea is simple. If a system knows you well enough, its recommendations will start to feel like they came from a trusted friend. Now, the second solution is maybe even more radical. It completely flips the entire traditional publishing model upside down. See, in the old world, the book was the start of the relationship. You trusted an author because, hey, they got a book published. In this new model, the book is the end of the relationship. It's the culmination. You read the book precisely because you've already spent months or even years coming to trust the author's thinking.
And this is the new playbook we're seeing more and more. Authors spend years building in public. They're sharing their ideas constantly on newsletters, on podcasts, on social media. They engage with their community, they show their work, they build a real reputation over time. So by the time the book finally drops, it's not some cold introduction. It's a deep dive with a thinker you already know, you already follow, and you already respect.
And what this does is it gives you an incredibly powerful new filter for this modern AI-flooded world. Instead of just asking if a book seems good, you now have to ask for proof of work. Is there a track record here? Has this person been wrestling with these ideas out in the open? Is there actual evidence of a real mind that has skin in the game? That right there is the new signal of trust.
So, okay, let's say we've done it. We've found a new way to trust an author and choose a great book. But solving that problem just uncovers an even bigger one. Once you've made that investment and you've opened that book, how do you actually engage with it in a world that is screaming at you to take shortcuts, to read the summary, to listen at 2 times speed? Does deep reading itself even survive? That's a huge question, and one we'll tackle next time.